Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name's Daniel, and I'm the Vegan Nazarite. Well, we're well into the 8 days of Sukkot this week, and my wife and I are going to be going to our place in the wilderness for Sukkot. So hopefully that will be acceptable to Yah for our part of. For basically sleeping in our tent. I want to welcome everybody on this new edition of the Torah reading. And today's Torah reading is Metsora. And that's going to be Leviticus 14:1 to Leviticus 15:33. And for the prophets this week, we're going to be reading 2 Kings 7:3 to 7:20. Might be a slow reader today. I did a whole bunch of grinding on an old trailer this week, and I think I got a little bit of an eye infection. No, I'm not demon possessed because I'm reading the Torah. The Torah is a blessing and a curse also. So just want to ask for your patience. I'm going to be reading it a little slower today. My left eye is bothering me a bit. So that is that. I hope everybody had a good week. And I hope that everybody had a good high Shabbat this week for the first day of Sukkot. And on that note, let us start the Torah reading. Leviticus 14. And the Lord spoke unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of the leprosy is healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 living clean birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop, and the priest shall command to kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them in the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed for the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let go the living bird into the open field. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and bathe himself in water, and he shall be clean. And after that he may come into the camp, but shall dwell outside his tent 7 days. And it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave all of his hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows, even all his hair he shall shave off. And he shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water, and he shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 he-lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3/10 part of an ephah of fine flour for a meal offering mingled with the oil, and 1 log of oil. And the priest that cleanseth him shall set the man that is to be cleansed and those things before the Lord at the door of the tent of meeting. And the priest shall take 1 of the he-lambs and offer him as a guilt offering, and a log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the he-lamb in the place where they kill the sin offering and the burnt offering, in the place of the sanctuary. For as the sin offering is the priest's, so is the guilt offering. It is most holy. And the priest shall take of the blood of the guilt offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take off the log of oil and pour it on the palm of his own left hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and he shall sprinkle of the oil with his finger 7 times before the Lord. And of the rest of the oil that is in his hand shall the priest put upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of the right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, and upon the blood of the guilt offering. And the rest of the oil that is to be the priest's, that is in the priest's hand, he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord. And the priest shall offer the sin offering and make atonement for him that is to be cleansed, because of his uncleanliness, and afterwards he shall kill the burnt offering. And the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meal offering upon the altar, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. And if he be poor, and his means suffice not, then he shall take 1 he lamb for a guilt offering to be waved, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 part of an ephah of fine flour mingled with oil for a meal offering, and a log of oil. And 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as his means suffice for. And the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. And on the 8th day he shall bring them for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tent of meeting before the Lord. And the priest shall take the lamb of the guilt offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Lord. And he shall kill the lamb of the guilt offering, and the priest shall take of the blood of the guilt offering, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour oil into the palm of his own left hand, and the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is left in the left hand 7 times before the Lord. And the priest shall put of the oil that is in the hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the guilt offering. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before the Lord. And he shall offer 1 of the turtle doves or of the young pigeons, such as is being suffice for, even as is being suffice for, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, which is with the meal offering. And the priest shall make atonement for him that is to be cleansed before the Lord. This is the law of him whom is the plague of leprosy, whose means suffice not for that which pertaineth to his cleansing. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When you come into the land of Canaan, which I give you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession, then he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, There seemeth to me to be as if it were a plague in the house. And the priest shall command that they empty the house. Before the priest go in to see the plague, all that is in the house shall not be made unclean. And afterwards the priest shall go in to see the house. And he shall look upon the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house, with hollow streaks, greenish or reddish, and the appearance thereof be lower than the wall, Then the priest shall go out of the house of the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again that seventh day. He shall look, and behold, if the plague he spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take out stones in which the plague is, and cast them into an unclean place without the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and he shall pour out the mortar that they scrape out without the city onto an unclean place. And he shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones. And he shall take another mortar and shall plaster the house. And if the plague come again and break out in the house after the stones have been taken out, and after the house has been scraped, and after it has been plastered, then the priest shall come in and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a malignant leprosy of the house, it is unclean. And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city unto an unclean place. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that it is shut up shall be unclean until the even. And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes, and he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes. And if the priest shall come in and look, and behold, the plague hath not spread in the house after the house it was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go of the living bird out of the city onto the open field. So shall he make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy, and for a skull, and for the leprosy of a garment, and for a house, and for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is a law of leprosy. Okay, Leviticus chapter 15. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath an issue of his flesh, his issue is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanliness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is uncleanness. Every bed whereupon that he hath the issue lieth shall be unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whatsoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and he be unclean until the even. And when he sitteth on anything whereon that sitteth on anything whereon he hath an issue, shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and unclean until the even. And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and he be unclean until the even. And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and he shall be unclean until the even. And what saddle seweth he that hath the issue righted upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the even. And he that beareth those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. And whomsoever he that hath the issue toucheth, without having rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And the earthen vessel which he that hath the issue toucheth shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. And when he hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing, to wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in running water, and he shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Lord unto the door of the tent of meeting, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Lord of his issue. And the flow of seed go out. If the flow of seed go out from a man, then he shall bathe all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. And every garment and every skin whereon the flow of seed shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. The woman also with whom a man shall lie carnally, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue is in the flesh, in her flesh be blood, she shall be in her impurity 7 days, and whoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the even. And everything that she lieth upon her impurity shall be unclean. Everything also that she sit upon, she shall be unclean. And whoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And whosoever toucheth anything that she sitteth upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And if he be on the bed or on anything whereon she sitteth, when he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the even. And if any man lie with her, and her impurity be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and every bed whereupon he lieth shall be unclean. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days, not in the time of her impurity, or if she have an issue beyond the time of her impurity, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as in the days of her impurity. She is unclean. Every bed she lieth on in the days of her issue shall be unto her as a bed of her impurity, and everything whereupon she sitteth shall be unclean as the uncleanliness of her impurity. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes and bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even. But if she be cleansed in her issue, then she shall number herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tent of meeting. And the priest shall offer her, one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for her issue of her uncleanliness. Thus shall you separate the children of Israel from their uncleanliness, that they die not in their uncleanliness when they defile my tabernacle that is in the midst of them. This is the law of him who hath an issue, and of him who flows the seed goeth out, so that he is unclean thereby. And of her that is sick with her impurity, and of them that have an issue, whether it be a man or a woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. That's the Torah reading for today. So I just want to add that these, well, we can easily make 2 links with the New Testament in this part of the Torah reading. First of all, right at the beginning, when we learn of a leper, Yeshua when he cleansed one of the lepers, I forget exactly where in the New Testament that is. I'd have to load up the New Testament. Well, guess what? After Yeshua cleansed the leprous man, or maybe it was a group of lepers, I forget, uh, Yeshua goes and tells him to see the priest and do the ritual as it is when a leper is clean. Well, guess what? It's right here in Leviticus chapter 14. So Yeshua absolutely lived by the law of Moses, I mean. Uh, and even after cleansing the lepers, he tells them, he doesn't say, oh, well, I'm God, so you're clean from now on. No, absolutely not. Yeshua goes and he tells them to do the ritual as per the law of Moses. Well, we read it right here. Um, let me just switch here. I'll see if I can find the exact. I'm reading from the Tanakh, so I don't have the New Testament here. Let me just see if I can find it quickly. And there we go. I'll just do a Boolean search on the words leper. And clean. That should bring me to it. Oh, no searches. Maybe I'm Leper. Okay. Leper. Search. Okay, so there we go. Maybe it's Mark. Go to Matthew first. Matthew 8:2. Okay, there we go. It's in Matthew 8, verse 2. Let's start off with 1. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou can make me clean. And Yeshua put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. And Yeshua said unto him, See thou that no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priests, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for testimony unto them. And when Jesus was entered, they came to him a centurion beseech him. So there we go. That's one part. And if we go back, let's go back to Luke. And there's another very important, let's go to Luke. So Zechariah. So basically, Mary does exactly the same thing when she is unclean after giving birth to Yeshua. She goes in and she offers, I think it's 2 pigeons or 2 turtle doves, um, for becoming clean again after birth. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, there we go. It's in Luke 1:21. And when the 8 days were accomplished for the circumcising of the child, his name was called Yeshua, which was named of the angel before he was conceived in the womb. And when the days for purification, according to the law of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem to present him unto the Lord and to offer. So they had 2 things here. Yeshua was a firstborn, so he had to be consecrated to the Lord. And in verse 24, we read, and to offer a sacrifice according to that which is said in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. So if you're reading more the New Testament, I just want to advise you, Yeshua, and even Mary in this case, did absolutely hold on to the law of Moses. So who are we to go against the law, is what I'm trying to say. It was good enough for Mary. It was good enough for Yeshua. Well, guess what? Those are examples that we should follow. So I just wanted to add that to the Torah reading today, because it's only when we actually know the Torah that you start finding these gems in the New Testament. How Zacharias is told that his son is to be a Nazarite. How Yeshua orders the lepers to get cleansed, even after he cleaned them. So these are all great examples to follow. Now, let me go back to the Tanakh. And now we're going to be reading 2 Kings 7:3-20. 2 Kings 7:3-20. Okay, so let's go here. 2 Kings. 1 Kings, 2 Kings, 2 Kings, 7:3-20. Chapter 7 and 3. Okay, verse 3. Okay, so we've got an example of leprous men. Verse 3. Now there were 4 leprous men at the entrance of the gate, and they said to one another, why sit we here until we die? If we say we will enter into the city, then the famine is in the city, and we shall die there. And if we now sit here, we die also. Now therefore come, and let us fall into the host of the Arameans. If they save us, alive, we shall live, and if they kill us, we shall but die. And they rose up in the twilight, go into the camp of the Arameans. And when they were come to the outermost part of the camp of the Arameans, behold, there was no man there. For the Lord had made the host of the Arameans hear a voice of chariots and a noise of horses, even the noise of a great host. And they said to one another, lo, the kings of Israel hath hired us against the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to come upon us. Wherefore they arose and fled in the twilight and left their tents, their horses, and their asses, even the camp as it was, and fled for their lives. And when these lepers came to the othermost part of the camp, they went into one tent and did eat and drink, and carried thence silver, gold, raiment, and went and hid it. And they came back, and they entered into another tent, and had carried them also, and went and hid it. Then they said to one another, We do not well. This day is a good tidings, and we hold our peace. If we tarry until the morning light, punishment will overtake us. Now therefore come, let us go and tell the king's household. So they came and called into the porters of the city, and they told them, saying, We came to the camp of the Arameans, and behold, there was no man there, neither a voice of man, but the horses tied, and the asses tied, and the tents as they were. And the porters called, and they told it to the king's household within. And the king arose in the night, and said unto his servants, I will now tell you what the Arameans have done to us. They know that we are hungry, therefore they are gone out of the camp to hide themselves in the field, saying, When they come out of the city, we shall take them alive and get them into the city. And one of his servants answered and said, Let some take, I pray thee, 5 of the horses that remain, which are left in the city. Behold, if there are all the multitudes of Israel that are left in it, behold, they are as the multitude of Israel that are consumed, and let us send and see. And they took therefore 2 chariots with horses, and the king sent after the host of the Arameans, saying, Go and see. And they went after them unto the Jordan, and lo, all of the way was full of garment and vessels, which the Arameans had cast away in their haste. And the messengers returned and told the king. And the people went out and spoiled the camp out of the Arameans. So a measure of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 measures of barley for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. And the king appointed the captain on whose hand he leaned to have the charge of the gate. And the people trod upon him in the gate, and he died from the man, as the man of God said, who spoke when the king came down to him. And it came to pass, as the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 measures of barley for a shekel, and a measure of fine flour for a shekel, shall be tomorrow about this time in the gate of Samaria. And the captain answered the man of God, and said, Now behold, if the Lord should make windows in heaven, might such a thing be? And he said, Behold, thou shalt see it with thine eyes, but shalt not eat thereof. And it came to pass even unto him, for the people trod upon him in the gate, and he died. Okay, so here we have one of the miracles, and the man of God had actually prophesied that there was a famine, not a famine, they were being sieged, and the man of God said that wheat and barley is going to be super cheap the next day. Well, guess what? Yah basically scared off the army that was laying siege to the city, and lo and behold, the next day, the provisions left by the army were so great that there was basically an abundance of wheat, flour, and everything else. There you go. Praise to Yah for saving an Israelite city yet again. And I think this is Samaria. Yeah, the gate of Samaria. So there we go. We also see God is using the lepers here. Basically, the lepers were the first ones to notice that the attacking Aramean army was gone. So, nice story about Elisha and one of his prophecy and the in the Old Testament, in 2 Kings. And on that note, we have just done our Torah reading and our reading of the prophets. I want to wish everybody a good commuting time with Yahweh during this time of Sukkot. And don't forget, we've got another high holiday coming up next week, which is the last day of Sukkot, the 8th day. That's about it for now. I want to thank you for listening to me and letting me preach the Torah. Torah is important. And if you strictly use the New Testament readings, guess what? You might actually get lost on the path to salvation, because when we read about these miracles and these things that happen in the New Testament, we always have to put in perspective the Torah, because if we don't, instead of following the straight and narrow road like Yeshua tells us to, we end up on the wide path of destruction. Because even in the New Testament, in this case, in this week's Torah reading, we read that both Yeshua and his mother Mary did exactly as commanded in the law of Moses. So let that ding, 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 ring a few bells, because the Torah is still important and relevant to this day. My name is Daniel, and I'm the Vegan Nazarite. I want to thank everybody for listening again. Have a happy Sukkot. May the Lord commune with you as in the days of New Jerusalem. Praise thy kingdom, Father. And I ask this in the name of Yeshua the Messiah. Amen.